Welcome into the Pursuit of Manliness podcast, where we are vigorously equipping men to pursue biblical manliness. My name is Jarrett Samuels. I'm the host of the podcast. As always, men, thank you for taking time and checking out today's show. If this is your first time hearing about or coming across the Pursuit of Manliness, I want to encourage you, make sure when you get a chance, you visit thepursuitofmanliness.com. There you can find out a whole bunch of information about the Pursuit of Manliness, some social media links, email, sign up, etc. Go there. There's some things available in the gear store I want to highlight before I get into this. One would be just officially released on Saturday, the first patch for Pursuit of Manliness. We got another one coming out in October. I think the Men in Tribe are going to get one. So this is something I'm beginning to incorporate into the Pursuit of Manliness. And it's a head stamp. And it says the Pursuit of Manliness, established 2015. And in the center of it, it says 1 Kings 2:2. That's where David's telling Solomon, be strong, show yourself to be a man. And man, pretty fired up about that. Reached out to someone, had them design that for me, and we've used it on a shirt now, sticker, and now a PVC patch that has the Velcro backing on the back, which I really like. And then the other thing that I want to make sure you know about is the men's retreat. Deadline to get the shirt for the men's retreat is September 12th. So the retreat is October 1st and 2nd in Indianapolis. We have a cutoff to get the men's retreat shirt. Even if you cannot get to Indianapolis for this men's retreat, we will send the shirt to you when the retreat's over. You get the men's retreat. It's live streamed in our closed Facebook group. So when you sign up for this event, you say, well, I don't know if I can get there or not. That's okay. You sign up. You get all the information emailed to you. In that email is a link to our closed Facebook group. So if for some reason you didn't see that email and you're like, hey, I signed up, but I didn't get it, reach out to me. Let me know, and I'll make sure you get in there. Conversations are taking place about accommodations and food and all these different things, and that's where I'm sharing I'm sharing posts in there about some friends who are donating things as prizes that we're going to draw for during the weekend. So whether you can get here or not, we want to make sure that you get as much camaraderie and community as possible. So those who are online only, you will get, everything will be live streamed in that Facebook group. And again, the conversation's already taken place in there. But if you're planning on being here, camping is an option. We are a church in a town, so it's not like we have a campground or anything like that. We're nothing special about our property, but I'm telling you what, we have a lot of guys doing that. If you want to save on money, that's great. When you sign up, we send you a hotel PDF, which has a few hotels that we recommend. And if you know someone in the area, you can certainly stay with them as well. We just want you to get here if you can. We have about 70 men already signed up for that. Again, I know that seems like a long ways away, September 12th, the deadline for the t-shirt aspect, but man, you know how, especially if you have kids, you know how it is. It'll be Labor Day before you know it. So we want to keep that conversation going. Maybe you say, because I know there's guys doing this, they're coming to this weekend and they really don't know anybody except maybe they kind of know me through a podcast, and you're like, man, I don't know what that's like if I don't know anyone. I'm telling you right now, I know enough of the guys that are coming. You will leave here with a brotherhood. You will leave here with some guys who you say, man, I'm thankful that I was able to connect with that guy. And I just know we need it. We need it. And that almost is kind of a springboard into what I want to talk about today. A couple stories that I want to share before I get into this. One would be that I've done this long enough. I'm not an expert in the field of working with men, but I've been a man for 46 years. That's how long I've been on this planet. I wasn't a man from birth, but you get the idea. I've been a guy long enough. I've worked with guys long enough. Even in children's ministry, really my focus was getting men to serve within children's ministry. Just such a culture changer when that happens. And I've worked with guys long enough to know that there's kind of an ebb and flow to men. And what I mean is we have seasons where we're thriving. We have seasons where, life is good. We can almost kind of merge into that. Everything kind of works out idea. We're just kind of going through the flow. And then men have seasons where they get funky and flat. They just do. And I can't say exactly when those things are, but I just know, like, you just hit certain times of the year where you say, yep, they're getting funky. They're getting flat here. It happens. Within Tribe, it's a 6-month window. And there's a couple months there. I know there are guys who are going to get funky. They're going to kind of move away from the community. They're going to get down. They're going to get tired. They're going to be kind of mentally beaten down. It just happens. And that's kind of one of the reasons why the tribe is set up for 6 months, because I know that's going to happen. I know within the first month, guys have that new car smell. They're fired up. Month 2 and 3, which is around January, February for one session. And then we're looking at July, August for another session. Guys just get kind of weary. But what's happening in the last 2 years is I feel like it's happening more and more with men than ever. I feel like these moments of weariness are becoming far too common. And what I mean is I hear from guys all the time who are just, they're worn out. They're tired. I don't know if I want to say depressed, but like I've shared before, like I've been depressing, and they're in that circle somewhere in there. Listen, I've been there, and I think, and I've shared this before, as like a lone wolf. That's my natural inclination, is more of a lone wolf. I don't necessarily mind it at first, but I know that if I stay there too long, it's not a good place for me to be. That I need the pack. I need the community. I need that brotherhood that's going to pull me out, that's going to hit me up through text or through any means possible to say, hey, how you doing? Well, thank you for reaching out. I just feel like this is happening more and more with men. I don't want to blame it on social media, but that could be part of it. I don't want to blame it on all the issues in our culture and politics and race and pandemic, but I believe that all plays a part. Absolutely. I mean, there's nowhere you can turn right now and not be hit in the face with a political issue. There's nowhere you can turn. And I've had people get upset at me about, why don't you talk about this, and this? And I'll say, because I need to have a different conversation. There's heart issues and there's hope issues. And you have to decide, which one you're going to talk about right now, a heart issue or a hope issue. Well, for a lot of people, they don't have much hope. And there's people who claim to be Christians, and you look as depressing as people who don't have the hope. You're supposed to have it. Like, we're supposed to have it, right? But they look just as sad and worn down and tired and defeated as those who have no hope. And so for me, that's an issue we got to dive into here. And I was thinking about this recently, this idea, and you can see from the title of this podcast, so you kind of had, how this is going to go, but the idea of kindling your own fire. Like, how do I do that? And I've talked about this before. And I just felt like the other day, this is something I need to get back to. Because as men, we don't always know how to do this. So we're looking for motivation and inspiration. We're looking for that Rocky movie moment where suddenly the next day you go out and you're going to run 3 miles with a racquetball because I saw Rocky do it, and I'm going to go climb steps because I've been motivated or inspired. But that's not really, tending your own fire, kindling your own fire, right? Like, you have to figure out how to kindle your own fire in your life. Now, when you get around other guys and you have those seasons where, all the elements are perfect, it's a lot easier to keep your fire kindled, isn't it? But when you're by yourself, it might be easy to just let the fire go out. Now, I've shared this a couple years ago. I feel like it was a couple years ago. I was trying to think today how long ago it was. I'm going to say 2, just for the sake of who cares. It was a couple years ago around January that for some reason I just was bothered that I really didn't know how to light a fire. I mean, like a campfire, a backyard fire that people could sit around, and we just didn't do that. Like, I didn't grow up doing that. Even as our family, we didn't really do that. We were involved in, we're so involved in like church stuff that we haven't had, even the idea we've talked about, like planning camping trips, it's not even on the radar because we're always locked into something. So for me, I realized late January that I didn't know how to light a backyard fire. Just never needed to. And for whatever reason, I decided, you know what? Now I'm going to learn how to do it. So I went to my garage. I grabbed some wood. I mean, I got the idea of fire, kind of how it works. So I grabbed some wood. I think I grabbed some cardboard, if I'm not mistaken. We had some starter fluid or something. I can't remember what it was. Kind of like a knockoff brand or something. I don't even know why we had it. And it was almost frozen goopy gunk. But anyhow, I went to the our fire pit in the backyard. We did have one of those that we had used like every 8 months for some reason, and I built this thing. And I decided I'm going to light it. I had a Scripto lighter, had matches. I thought, well, I'm going to get this thing lit. Doggone it, I'm going to have a fire lit. And it was a debacle. It was a debacle. No matter what, I even had, I had gasoline. I thought, well, worst case, I'm going to pour some gasoline on this. Well, if you don't have your fire built right and you don't use the right elements and in the right way, and there's some science behind this, you're not really going to have a fire. And that's basically what happened to me. I could light some cardboard on fire for a moment, or this piece of wood on fire for a moment, but I didn't really have a fire. And I felt a little defeated, which was funny because I had no counsel. I don't, to my recollection, ever had anyone instruct me on how to build a fire, ever. And I was defeated. So I do what we all do. I went to YouTube. And I searched how to build a backyard fire. Now, for some of you guys, you grew up doing this, you're like, I can't believe that a guy in his 40s didn't know how to build a fire. I had no need for it, ever. There was never a need to ever do this. I never found myself in a scenario where everyone looked at me and said, can you start the fire? Because I didn't need it. But I thought, I want to learn this. So I watched the YouTube and I watched different people, and I watched, some of these guys got ridiculous backyards, and some of them have like, the bushcraft style. And there was all these, so I tried to watch all these different types of people building fires and finding some people that I really liked and thought, okay, I like what he's doing. And I'd watch that. And then I realized I really didn't possess the stuff to build the appropriate fire. So I went to the local grocery store and I bought the bag of wood, and I bought, a couple other things that were used for kindling. And I decided, it's late January, February. It's freezing cold outside. Oh, I'm building a fire. And I got it. Like, I got the fire built. And I remember, almost like a Tom Hanks on the Castaway movie, but here I am, residential. And I'm like, I got fire. And I'm telling the family, come outside. There's fire. And of course, they're freezing coming out. And they didn't really understand in that moment. My wife maybe did, but my kids did not understand that moment. What that meant for me as a grown man to finally know how to light and start fire and maintain it, I should say. And since then, like, that's been a springboard to being outdoors, going hiking, camping, learning these different skills, learning how to just do different things. I'm like, that was such an odd defining moment for me that a lot of guys probably grew up at least with the knowledge or skill to do that. I just didn't. But I was able to do that and almost became obsessed with building fire then. I could not collect enough wood. I could not collect enough starter cubes and all these other, them getting the cotton ball and the Vaseline, and I'm learning these different, and I'm like, okay, well, how do I do that? And I want to learn that, and I want to build that, or if I go here and do this, and all these different things that all of a sudden this world opened up a little bit more that I just personally did not know how to do that. I just believe there's some guys listening to this podcast who literally do not know how to start fire, or what we're going to talk about, you don't know how to kindle your own fire in your life. You're looking for it from somewhere else. Nothing wrong with going to YouTube like I did and get some counsel, but at some point, you got to get in your own backyard and light a fire. At some point, you need to light that fire and get people around it to celebrate it. To say, okay, put their coats on, their boots on, whatever. I know it's summer right now, at least where I'm at. I know it's summer and it's hot, but that was a moment where I said, okay, I can do this. And man, I want to talk to you about that idea of kindling that fire in your life. Because there are so many guys who are weary. There are so many men who are worn out. There are so many guys who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know what I'm saying? Some of you are nodding your head right now. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're tired. You're sick of it. You've considered going off the grid. You've considered quitting your job. You've considered taking the TV and throwing it in the backyard fire. You've considered a lot of things because you said, man, I don't want to live like this. I'm tired of all the stuff, and I'm tired of being tired. What we're going to talk about is let's keep that fire kindled. Sometimes when that fire is kindled, it's a low flame. And sometimes that fire is kindled and it is a bright, burning flame that the neighbors look out their window and go, what in the world is going on in that backyard? I've been on both sides of that. I understand that. Let's start with this. Regardless of the conditions, you can get a flame going and you can keep it going. The first thing you got to do, guys, is you got to get in the Word. If I'm really honest with you, and I try to do that, I've tried to do that this whole time I've been on this podcast journey, whatever this thing is, there are days I don't want to be in the Word. I don't know why. I just don't. Like, I know how good it is for my soul and how good it is for my way of thinking, but I fell into this groove, and I'm in this lull. I'm in this, almost like sewer, if you will, and I'm just stuck there, like and I'm just in there. I'm in this gutter, and I'm just rolling along. I'm just moving along. And I know, I see it, and I feel the Holy Spirit convicting me of, Jared, get in the Word. Guys, you got to get in the Word. You have to get in the Word. I see this a lot in Tribe. When men fall away, one of the things they'll say is, well, I'm still doing the reading. I had a guy years ago who was in Tribe, and he disappeared on all of us in his, I think it was fiance or someone, somehow messaged one. I don't know how. Anyhow, they said, oh, he's doing the reading. No, he's not. No, he's not. Because when men fall away, and I mean that fire starts to go out, and they're getting funky, and they're getting flat, and they're getting weary, and they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, they almost always, I know they probably think they're the exception, but almost always begin to remove themselves from God and His Word. Almost to a man. Removing themselves from God and His Word. And I'm just telling you, that you have to hold on to. You have to hold on to, because if you don't stay in the Word, you're not going to grow, and you're not going to bring yourself out of your funky flatness by just trying harder. You just won't, and you know that. But for whatever reason, you're tired, and you're worn out. And the last thing you want to do is open it up, or if you have no reading plan, to go, okay, where do I start? Where do I go? I would go to the Gospel of John. I know some people go to Psalms and Proverbs, and that's fine. But at some point, you need some meat. At some point, you need to get out of the Hallmark section of the store and go get some meat. Get into John, get into Acts, and start look at 1 Peter and 2 Peter. If you want, read Romans, read Hebrews. I don't know, but get to the meat. Get to the meat. So the first thing we have to do, regardless of our conditions, regardless of your season, regardless of the storm you're going through, regardless of how you feel, is you got to get in the Word. You have to get in the Word, and don't just read it, close it, and walk away. I've done that. It's not good. But get in the Word. The second thing you need to do, and this sounds like, well, this is contradictory to what you're saying here. No, you do need to get alone. And what I mean by that is you need to get quiet. Not pouting, quiet. Not passive aggressive, quiet. Not manipulating relationships, quiet. I'm talking about being a grown man. And grown men can pursue being quiet. They quiet their mind, they quiet their soul, they quiet their heart, they quiet their ears, they quiet their eyes to be restored. Again, I'm not talking about pouting. I'm not talking about being quiet in your house so your wife finally says, okay, what's wrong? And then you can buy that new thing that you've been trying to get or have that new experience. That's a man-child. Don't do that. I'm talking about quieting your soul, and that's hard to do. But go out, as you're in Scripture, you're going to identify with different men who went out and they were quiet. They got quiet before the Lord. What happened? God showed up. Amazing how that happens. Maybe you need to turn the TV off. Maybe you need to stop this podcast right now. Maybe you need to log off social media. Maybe you need to delete social media. Maybe you need to, I don't know what it is, but we can't blame these things like they're bad, I'm good. Listen, you're allowing it to happen. So to get quiet, that means I'm going to determine what comes in my ears. Maybe the only voices I want to hear right now is my wife and children. Maybe that's it, besides God, of course. But I don't want to hear what a newscaster has to say. I don't want to hear about what Dr. So-and-so has to say. I don't want to hear about what this person has to say. I don't need to hear from another person who is, well, so-and-so says that. I don't care. I don't need to know what a star athlete did or didn't do, or what some team is going to do, or what a new policy is. I don't need to do that. Some of the most peaceful people on the planet are also the ones that understand how to just get quiet. You want to keep that fire kindled in your life? Allow yourself to get quiet. Allow yourself to have some alone time. Intentional alone time may be exactly what you need to recharge your soul when you sit there and you allow the Holy Spirit to just kindle that fire, right? You're already in the Word. You're considering what maybe you had read that day. Maybe you're considering something you had read years ago and you kind of forgot about it, something you were taught, something you studied, and you just allow yourself to be quiet. And I know for some of you that's tough. Maybe on the way to work and back, you don't listen to anything. Maybe, when you're out in the garage doing stuff, you don't listen to anything. Maybe you turn the TV off. Maybe you don't have to watch everything that's on. Maybe you don't have to. I've said this the other day. Even people that I agree with on social media from a political and theological standpoint, I'm tired of reading it. I just am. And I'm not picking on anyone. Just collectively, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of getting on social media, which in my world would be a reprieve from reality, which can always be dangerous. Sports for me for a long time were a reprieve from reality, and well, they fixed that problem for me, didn't they? So when getting on there, sometimes you just want to break. I just want to see that you had a hamburger. I want to see that you're on vacation. I want to see that you made something, you bought something, you created something. I just want to see that. Nope, we got to keep on keeping on, and it's tiring. So sometimes you just need to get alone time and say, hey, I'm done with this for a while. The third thing is this. I want to go back to number one would be get in the Word. You get in the Word, you're staying connected to God, you're allowing the Holy Spirit to convict you, stretch you. Alone time is going to be a time of restoration and reset and refocus. The next one would be stay connected. Now, Jarrett, you just spent the first part of this telling me about getting away from everything. You have to be connected to people who are for you and with you. And I understand that's hard to find sometimes. I bang this drum every chance I get. This is why the pursuit of manliness is not about becoming more like Jarrett Samuels, but getting around other men of God, which I am one, but I'm not the only one. A lot of these platforms are built on the identity and personality of the leader. Well, yeah, my name's attached to this, and it's my credit card that pays the bills to keep, to make the platform and these things go. But it's not about me. It's about, first of all, it's about Jesus, but it's about building better men together. Stay connected. Stay connected. Again, I see guys who have community, who have friendships, who have what a lot of people long for and who are desperate for, and they just toss it aside for whatever reason. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Let me know how that works out for you. Actually, you probably won't, because that's the last we'll hear of you until the whole kit and caboodle crashes down and then we come back. Knock it off, man. Again, we're talking about a maturing way to kindle your fire. Get in the Word, number one. Number two, get some alone time. Get that reset. Let people know, hey, maybe you need to let some people know, listen, I'm going to be off for a bit, but I'll be back. Or, hey, man, I need 48 hours, and I want you to check on me on the 49th hour. Whatever. Stay connected to the community. I've shared before, and I shared earlier in this podcast, that my mentality, my natural inclination is the lone wolf. It is. Even within my home. I have a wife and children, and there's times where I'm like, I just need to be by myself. But I got to stay connected. You can't remain on your own. You just can't. So stay connected to the community. And you're like, well, I don't have a community. Brother, I'm giving you every chance we can from this angle. Maybe this community isn't for you. That's fine. But I'm giving you every chance I can get from this angle. I want to provide you that opportunity. I want to provide you to have some skin in the game, get with some good dudes. Every, 4 or 5 months, we run different promotions and podcasts and things about Tribe, and you hear guys talk about the community they find in Tribe. You say, well, maybe Tribe isn't for you. Great. Well, maybe something else is. You got to find what is for you and then do that. Maybe you're the guy that needs to start the community. Maybe you need to start the small group in your house. Maybe you need to open your garage up or your backyard up and invite guys there. Maybe you need to do one more round with them. Maybe you're going to need to do Building Better Men Together in August. I mean, I don't know. We just provide the opportunities. Again, we're talking about kindling your fire. I can't keep it lit for you. I have a hard enough time keeping my own fire lit. And the last one would be worship. So I want to go back to this list real quick. You got to get in the Word, stay connected to God and His Word, okay? Number 2, you need some alone time. You see guys in the Scripture. Jesus modeled it for us as well, but also you need to stay connected to community, the right community. And the last one would be worship. And worship isn't just music. It is in a lot of ways. I understand that. But again, throughout this process of getting in the Word, getting by yourself, getting with other people, that's a form of worship. Our life, the way we live, is a form of worship. Yesterday, I was getting in the car and I was driving to the church, and I thought, I need to get my heart right. I just felt like my heart wasn't maybe in the best place as I was going to get ready to teach that day. And I put my earbuds in, and I love TuneIn Radio, and I'm opening my app. I have all these stations saved, and I pluck up a Christian station, and it was some guy who does Christian worship program on the Sunday, and I don't remember what song it was, but he was driving me crazy. I was like, nope, this ain't it. So I eventually got to, I scrolled again, and I got to, and this is all en route to the church. I get to Toby Mac. Some of you guys love Toby Mac. You love the hashtag Speak Life post because they share them all the time. I'm not a big fan. And I had that going in my earbuds, and I thought, nope, that ain't going to work either. So I scroll again to another station, and it was Carmen. I don't know if you know who Carmen is, but he was this Christian performer, and he's telling some of the angels were on the mountain, and the devil was, and I'm like, no, this ain't open. And the last one I finally got to was an area that someone from this area, stationed in this area that's regional, and it was a pastor who was yelling at people about something. I thought, nope, I'm 0 for 4. If that was what I was dictating my worship on, which was coming through my phone into my earbuds, boy, I'd have had a rough day. Fortunately, I was able to meet with the prayer team and have some other times of, again, living out a heart of worship. We got to figure that out. I want to go back to this. Understand you must get in the Word. It needs to be daily. I'm not trying to give you a guilt complex, but it needs to be daily. You need to get that alone time, healthy alone time. I want to go back to this. You're not manipulating people. You're not playing hard to get. You're not being moody. You're not being passive aggressive. You're not making other people chase you emotionally. That's garbage. And if you're doing that, knock it off. Don't do that. I'm talking alone time that's intentional. You can even communicate it. I need some alone time. I'll be back, though. Don't worry about me. I'll be back. Just going to get a reset here. Why'd you get so fired up about that, Jarrett? Because I see so many people that do that. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And some of you do that. Please don't do that. The third one would be stay connected to your community. Again, when people pull away, they don't respond to messages, they leave community, they don't show up to events and things, it's usually a pretty clear sign that something not good is going on, right? Stay connected to the community. You need that. You need perspective. You need to help allow them to have insight into your life as well. And the last one is, man, you got to develop a heart of worship. Again, this is all about kindling your own fire. Not looking for motivation, not looking for inspiration, not trying to microwave manliness, not trying to find a shot in the arm where I can just get a boost of, like drinking a Red Bull of Jesus. No, we're talking about the idea that you can kindle your fire. That it isn't a quick burst and then it's out, and it isn't something that can ever be, restored, that you just keep it going. And listen, I get it. There's times that it does go out. There's times that it is struggling, but man, find those resources to keep it going. And I tell you this as a word of warning, if you will listen to me, there are so many guys who are spiritually, relationally, and emotionally struggling right now. I've been there. I still find myself getting there at times. But those 4 things are, to me, are the pillars that I lean into. Like, okay, where are we at with that? Where are we at with these 4 things? And if I can keep that going, I have a better chance of making those times where I get funky and flat and sick and tired of being sick and tired. I have a better chance of not falling into sin, and I have a better chance of being brought out of those seasons and storms a whole lot quicker with a lot less damage. And isn't that what we're after? That we don't keep repeating that same cycle, but we keep pursuing health, maturity, and ultimately Jesus. Amen. Men, thank you for listening to this podcast. I'd love to get feedback from y'all. Maybe you got something. Maybe you have something. Hey, this is what I do to kindle my own fire. Here's something I've learned. Here's something that I lean into. man, I'd love to know. Any help we can give each other, let us know. If you see this podcast posted somewhere and you listen, come back to the post and leave a comment. Hey, here's something I do, or here's something that I've tried and it worked well for me. I'd love to know. I know guys will add, devotionals. They'll add, just different things that you could add to this. That's great. That's great. All those things are helping equip other men stay healthy, stay in the fight longer, because we all have people who depend on us to get this right. And that's what it really should be about. So, man, thank you for listening. Before you forget about it, go sign up for that men's retreat. I'm telling you, it is absolutely going to be worth it if you can get here. And if you can't get here, we're going to make it worth it for you as you watch online. If you want to show that, to your church, you got a few guys in your neighborhood and say, hey, 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to get together. We're going to watch. Man, do it. Do it. It's just about getting Jesus to more people, but also getting more people around other people who love Jesus. So make sure you sign up for that men's retreat. Men, thank you for listening, and let's keep pursuing biblical manliness.